Alright, so this is the Shiranui Stardust combo that I had. It wasn't necessarily the greatest thing on the planet, but it's really decent, and I like it a lot, so let's just go ahead and start. This is the first duel, one of the first duels. I don't have this in order of how many I had, but this guy, I don't even know how to pronounce that word, but you'll see it, it's kind of weird. So he's got this thing where he's running his deck with a very powerful blazing, I don't remember the deck archetype, but what I'm doing with this is that I'm running not Lightning Vortex, which is really cool, but I'm running Shiranui cards at first. Had the flip switch counter trap up, and on the second turn I flipped up Solitaire. I remember pulling out cards on this type of strategy. It's kind of strange because you don't get to do much with it except fish for a tuner, and it's kind of lame because if you don't have what you need, it's gonna leave you bare naked unless you have back row, and that doesn't help because once you go to synchro summon out of your graveyard or what have you, if you have the pretty guy, you still have life points, so it's like, okay. Blackwing, yeah, I know it's a bit strange, but that's what I chose to go with because it's better than nothing at all, and I didn't have Stardust Dragon, which is the card to use, so if you can replace that with Stardust Dragon, go ahead. Later on, I got rid of the Haunted Shrine. I'm probably not going to mention that again, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, this turn change, I'm able to throw into the graveyard or banishment pile, synchro summon, or re-summon from the graveyard and then synchro summon again, and then I'm able to do that with, I call it the Schwick. I don't remember Shiranui Sword Saga or Shogun Saga. They're all names I don't remember out of my head, but it's the level 7 bread and butter. That's the Squire Saga, sorry, Squire Saga. Squire Saga saves your ass a lot in any event, really. And you'll see it again when I'm fighting Otaku or OTK something, 020, we'll get to that, but yeah, Silent Doom's an interesting card to pick for that, but Trapple kind of just slowed everything down, and then he just killed himself out of frustration, which was interesting because I've never played against an opponent that actually drove himself to, like, suicide, which was interesting. But yeah, so then this new duel, I have Jet Synchron. I decided to start with Squire, like I'm supposed to, and I got Spectral Sword. So you kind of have to pray to God you have Squire, or what have you. I have also, in the deck, Tuna Monster Junk Synchron to pull out of my graveyard. Junk Anchor or Junk Converter, I think. Yeah, it's Junk Converter, not Junk Anchor. So that I can do my repeat synchro summons. And I don't use my level 7 dragon because I just don't like using it. And I'll get to that in a sec. But no, you got this really cool Ultimate Providence I added in, as well as having Shiranui Shrine. And the reason why I did that was because the game kept doing this rickroll nonsense where your back row comes first before you can get anything, and it just slows the game down. And I don't have Tuna Monster tuning, so I can't do anything with that. It's just annoying and it's bad. So I decided to lighten up my deck on spell and traps. Just decided to keep things basic. Sorry. I looked at Terrors and I liked the way he used that for a bit, but I just got rid of it. I really just kept the slap down on this one. And this is the one where the full back row decided to be really, really painful. Thep wanted to try and trap me, but the problem with that is when you're using Shiranui, you don't have a lot of leeway to get around Squire Saga. Squire Saga will chip the back row away. Just shave it right off because it's not gonna keep. You have to make sure everyone who's playing against you wants to make sure. You want to make sure you're having like power, like the Dragon Archfiend, come in and do things, monster effects. If you're going to use back row, you have to monster effects. Spell cards, you can use back row instead. Let's say if you're doing Canada, but that's still kind of a monster kind of thing. You need to fight with something. Even Ubel has Ubel, you know, like you can't not summon a monster in this kind of game. So then I got Shogun Saga in, you saw what I did, and I, you know, got all these effects going, and it was really cool, but when your finished shows up and she wants to like do a thing, I got my Samurai to send back Squire Saga, and then I was able to just kind of watch my Dragon Archfiend get completely obliterated and Shogun Saga completely and just decimated, leaving me with like absolutely nothing for a hot minute, and then my opponent does nothing. And it's interesting because I don't understand why he did that, but your finished has to go back to the back row. I didn't know why. So basically God himself was like, nope, no attack. Or it was like an effect I didn't see. I didn't even see it in the duel either, but I don't think he was either able to attack or just didn't want to. So then Squire Saga comes right back because I needed her specifically to get rid of that card, and then I got rid of her, which makes this whole thing easy. I got rid of my, you know, converter because why the heck not? And if I pull out Tuner Monster Junk Synchron, I don't have to get rid of my Junk Synchron, which is really cool and nice. So once that's in there, I can just wait, pull out Tuner Monster Junk Synchron, and then I can just jump into Junk Warrior, and then I can just jump into, you know, anything else but Stardust Dragon. But it is what it is, which was Blackwing for me. Got that damage boost because of what the card effects do, sendbacks and damage bolsters, plus whatever that was. And then this next duel was Squire, Squire. Gotta get the tuner. I go to Samurai Saga, which is nice. And that just kind of ends. This is where I kind of like mess with the back row a little bit more. Getting Threatening Roar will save you in most cases, where most duels like this, Okami 020, this is what I was going to talk about, makes this kind of thing difficult. And Swords of Revealing Light, I was really focused on that, as I didn't know when he was going to pop it. And he used Soul Servant. So then Soul Servant pops out Dark Magician. And Dark Magician pulls out whatever he wants to with that. And since that was his turn or what have you, I was just like, I'm going to hit this dude hard, and I'm not going to look back, because I need to kill this guy. And Dark Magicians are not fun to play with. Just speaking from experience, playing Duel Links, but not Master Duel specifically, it's like I don't like constantly being blocked from being able to do things in the game for no reason. And it's like, okay, well, there is a reason. There's that big magical circle right there, you gotta knock it out. Well, it's already open, and by the time you get to the point where you're 5-6 magicians in, there's nothing you can do. It's better to just send it off and never look back. But the thing with my deck is that I can get things going 2 different ways, which isn't why I won this duel. Why I won this duel is because either, it doesn't matter, pulling out Threatening Roar at the last minute to save my life wasn't what saved me. What saved me was the Haunted Shrine, which was the trap card that I talked about. I am seriously thinking about putting it back in, because this play right here pulls out a Dark Magician Girl, and he kills my Squire. My Haunted Shrine pulls back Samurai so that I can use my banishment. But since he comes in and uses that, I get rid of the Squire to then recall this thing, and Solitaire, not Squire, the Solitaire, and this thing calms out the 2 Synchro and Tuner that I needed, which then blocks again, which is really nice. The chain one after another, and that kind of thing is really important to have. That's really good. I could have started with another card, but it would have been better I did it just like that, because pulling out him too early wouldn't have helped strategy-wise, so I'm glad I kind of just did that on a loop. So then now, fast forward a few steps, and I've got Squire Saga back, or for the first time that is, and I knock off Dark Horizon and my synchro that he stole. So then I have my monster's effect rechaining again, which allows me to literally pummel that player character, but I didn't attack. I think I just kind of messed up, or I think it was Narada prevented me from attacking, but no, that wasn't important. So no, Swords of Revealing Light, that's right, it's still up. So then I used her effect again, Squire, and I got rid of one thing, but I couldn't summon anything, so I was just like, okay, whatever. And, or I just didn't care because I needed to forward. And basically at that point, I was just looking at resummoning, getting something done, getting something focused, and just really beating my opponent down. And that's, I think, the reason why I did another synchro, just to kind of pull out more stats, which was nice, but that wasn't the sole thing I needed to get out of the way. I needed to really just delete his life points. Now this guy, IVKFL, whatever, he's interesting because what he has to do was pull, and in the between, like, most of these duelists that I've had to face, they have nothing. They're kind of naked. And after I pruned up my deck a little bit to keep everything under control, I've had more monsters to control over time. So stuff like this, I pull out Samsara, and they can't attack me because I don't have enough attack points, but I can just throw away the tuner because, look at that, I have Squire in my hands, and I've already drawn. And I've been holding on to that because it's just what you do. I think that was from my trap card, but also Wire Saga is so nice. Push and pull, and then that clap is so good. Synthesis. Pull that. Deep Grave. Grave 2, that's really good. Silent Doom, again, there's another guy who uses that, it's really interesting. But it's the same kind of thing. If you use Threatening Roar properly, you can really get what you need and survive. Now, I know Ash Blossom exists, and a lot of duelists use that, but the thing is, I don't have that card. These are fish for butter cards like Maxi and Ash, because this deck doesn't probably really even need Maxi. You don't need Maxi. You need probably only Ash Blossom. You don't need the Mayakashi resummoning tool. You could probably just go without that. And you could probably just go with Junk Warrior. And pretty much everything else. And this is where I'm using Junk, which leads up to the whole Stardust thing. Instead of getting Stardust Dragon, I got Blackwing. You know, Black Feather Dark Rage Dragon, and the thing bolsters up all of our attack power as soon as I got that finished, which was really nice, and I'm glad I waited to do that. And I chose not to attack. I just sat there, and that dude did nothing but put one pathetic back row card, and that was it. I don't know why I chose not to attack. I just like you, but the dude tries to kill, you know, Squire Saga, and it's like, okay, no, you know, that's a thing, but that's Samsara doing its work, and you're almost dead, so now I'm gonna Synchro Summon, and out comes Shogun Saga, bitchin' badass card, and I wasted that card, but it turns out I didn't waste it, so it's like the Guardian theme, you know, you have that moment. But I did that on purpose because I knew after I made a mistake, it was actually a beautiful mistake, and I'm going to show you why. I'm on to trying to put that thing there, and Solitaire does this thing, whatever. I pulled back using some effects from my graveyard, and then Red Cocoon wasn't necessary, I just wanted to use it. But because he didn't have anything in his back row, I just took the risk and straight in. So it's like, it wouldn't have mattered. I'm assuming that because Red Cocoon, I pulled out because it was useless. A few duels later, I was like, this sucks. I decided to use something else instead, and yeah. Daki the Graceful Maikashi, you don't need to use that. Samurai School, you definitely want to use. You pull out Big One, pull out the Mayakashi, and pull out Mayakashi, Big One, and Squire Saga? No. I think, no. That's about wraps it up, but if you pull out those two and you have what you need there, you'll be pretty good off. And what I mean by that is you want to add Shiranui cards, or you want to basically get more. You want to get tuning in. Or you can throw in the 2 Ash Blossoms that I mentioned. There's that option. But you don't actually need to change much with this deck.